Plymouth at just 3 degrees this morning, whilst Aberdeen sits at 5. Yes, you heard that correctly. Cornwall, colder than northeast Scotland. Is your area about to face one of the most disruptive weather weeks we've seen this winter? Right now, the Met Office has yellow warnings covering southwest England, Wales, and eastern Scotland, affecting over 15 million people. And in the next 8 minutes, I'll tell you exactly when the worst conditions hit London, Manchester, Birmingham, Glasgow, Cardiff, and Belfast. But drop your location in the comments right now, because tomorrow's forecast will include personalised timing for your specific area. London, rain arriving by mid-morning, heaviest through lunchtime. Manchester, staying drier until early afternoon. Birmingham, wet weather creeping in around 11 o'clock. Glasgow, snow showers continuing through the day. Cardiff, rain from 9 onwards. Belfast, relatively dry but cold easterly winds making it feel bitter. So what's driving this unusual pattern? We've got a southerly tracking jet stream that's been dominating our weather for the past week, and it shows no signs of shifting just yet. This is forcing low pressure systems to take a more southern route than we typically expect for early February. The result? Rain where we need it least, across already saturated ground in the southwest, and snow where infrastructure struggles to cope, across eastern Scotland. Let me show you what's happening right now. That easterly breeze I mentioned, it's not just bringing cold air, it is bringing moisture off the North Sea. Eastern Scotland is seeing the worst of it. Dundee, Aberdeen, and up towards the Northern Isles, you are looking at snow showers being blown in on quite a brisk wind. Initially, this was falling over higher ground, but through today, we are expecting it to come down to increasingly lower levels. Inverness, you might escape the worst of it on the western side, where you are sheltered from that easterly flow. Now, here's what concerns me most about today's setup. Southwest England has seen relentless rain for days. The ground is absolutely saturated. Exeter, Plymouth, Penzance, across Cornwall and Devon this morning, rain isn't particularly heavy by normal standards, maybe 10 to 15 millimeters. But because there is nowhere for that water to go, we are talking significant spray and surface water on the roads. The potential for further flooding is very real. This isn't the weather to be cavalier about. If you are driving through Somerset, Dorset, or Devon this morning, please allow extra time. That rain is creeping northwards as we speak. Wales, you are next in line. Swansea by mid-morning. Cardiff, as I mentioned, from around 9. The Midlands will see it arriving later. Nottingham and Leicester around midday. And eventually it pushes into East Anglia, Norwich, Cambridge. You are looking at early afternoon before things turn wet. But here's where it gets interesting. Northern England and Northern Ireland are caught between two systems. You are not getting the heavy rain the south is seeing, but you are not exactly dry either. Newcastle, you might see some drizzle. Liverpool and Leeds, cloudy with occasional light rain. The far northeast, though, that's a different story entirely. We are talking proper wintry conditions extending down from Scotland. And this brings me to a crucial point about tonight. Pay attention to this because it matters for your Tuesday morning commute. That rain slowly, and I mean slowly, creeps northwards into northern England and North Wales. Over the hills, the Pennines, the Welsh mountains, we could well see some snow. And increasingly through the night, that snow level drops. York, parts of Lancashire, potentially even down to lower levels by dawn on Wednesday. Southern Scotland, the same story, not the eastern side where you've already got snow, but the southern counties. The Met Office model is currently showing this rain-snow boundary sitting somewhere across a line from Liverpool to Hull by Wednesday morning. But the European model, and this is important, suggests it could be 50 miles further south. That difference, that 50-mile shift, changes everything for Manchester, Sheffield, and Leeds. If the European model is right, you wake up to snow on Wednesday morning. If the Met Office model holds, you get cold rain. We'll have a clearer picture tomorrow morning when the latest model runs come through, so do check back then. Let me talk about temperatures because they really quite remarkable. Yesterday, we saw milder conditions across much of the country. Today, that easterly breeze has knocked 2, 3, even 4 degrees off those values. Bristol sitting around 6 degrees, Southampton about 7, London, you might just about reach 8, but it'll feel colder in that brisk easterly wind. Edinburgh at 4 degrees, Glasgow similar. The only exception might be the far southwest. Penzance, if things dry up through the afternoon as expected, you could squeeze into double figures, maybe 10 or 11 degrees. Wednesday, so looking a lot drier across the south. And I know that will come as welcome relief. Brighton, Southampton, London, a much better day, maybe even some sunshine breaking through, which would lift temperatures back towards 9 or 10 degrees in the southwest. But this messy mixture continues across northern England, Northern Ireland, and southern Scotland. Manchester, you rewrite in the firing line for this rain and hill snow mix. It's not going to be pleasant. Some of that snow could come down to lower levels for a time Wednesday morning. Leeds and Sheffield, the same situation. Eastern Scotland, the snow continues. Aberdeen, that brisk wind just keeps pumping those showers in off the North Sea. The Northern Isles, Orkney and Shetland, you're re-looking at snow showers right through Wednesday. Western Scotland, though, you're probably favoured for the driest and brightest weather. Fort William, Oban, even Glasgow's western suburbs, you might see some decent spells between the showers. Now, I want to address something I am seeing in the extended forecast, and this is where model divergence becomes really significant. We're re-looking at the period from Thursday onwards. Currently, the Met Office unified model is showing low pressure continuing to dominate from the southwest. That means more of the same, essentially. Unsettled, mild, wet conditions, particularly across southern Britain. The GFS model, that is the American model, is broadly in agreement, but shows things turning a bit drier by the weekend. But wait until you see what the ECMWF ensemble is suggesting. They're a signal, and I stress this is still uncertain, of high pressure trying to build from Scandinavia later next week. If that happens, and it is a big if, we could see a shift to colder, drier conditions. Eastern areas would feel it first. But the strength of the Atlantic, those westerly winds, they were putting up quite a battle. So we have got this tug of war developing between the Atlantic wanting to push mild air in and this Scandinavian high trying to bring something colder and more settled. What does this mean for you practically? Well, if you are in Edinburgh or Newcastle, that easterly flow might strengthen if the high pressure builds. Colder, yes, but drier. If you are in Plymouth or Cardiff, you are more exposed to the Atlantic influence, so milder but wetter remains the likely scenario. Let me give you something specific to watch for tomorrow, because this will determine where we go from here. The overnight model runs, particularly the midnight ECMWF, will show us whether that Scandinavian high has any real teeth to it. If it is stronger than today's runs suggest, we were looking at a genuine pattern change. If it is weaker or further east, we were stuck in this Atlantic-dominated regime for another week at least. Belfast, let me give you a bit more detail because I know I haven't mentioned you much. Tuesday, you are actually looking relatively dry compared to most of the UK. Cold, though, with that easterly breeze. 3 or 4 degrees, feeling more like 0 in the wind. Wednesday brings a bit more cloud and possibly some patchy rain or sleet, particularly across County Down and County Antrim. Thursday looks unsettled again, with rain moving through. The Channel Islands, Jersey and Guernsey, you are in a slightly different regime. Tuesday sees some rain clearing, then actually quite a decent afternoon. Wednesday, mostly dry, with some sunny spells. You are far enough south that you escape the worst of this Northern England snow situation. Isle of Wight, similar story to the Channel Islands. Tuesday morning rain clears, afternoon brightens up. Wednesday looks pleasant actually, some sunshine, temperatures around 9 or 10 degrees. Across the Scottish Highlands, this is where topography really matters this week. The western side, sheltered from that easterly wind, seeing some brightness between showers. The eastern side, the Cairngorms, that persistent snow cover is building. If you are skiing at Glenshee or the Lecht, conditions are improving daily. For the rest of us, though, those eastern glens and straths are seeing some difficult driving conditions. The Lake District sits in an interesting position. Tuesday, you are on the northern edge of that rain band. Windermere, Keswick, expect periods of rain becoming more persistent by evening. Wednesday, that rain-snow mix I mentioned might clip your higher fells. Not talking about major accumulations at lower levels, but the passes, Kirkstone and Hardknott, could see some tricky conditions. One thing I should clarify about the snow situation, because I don't want to oversell this, we're not talking about a major snow event for most of the country. The snow that's falling in eastern Scotland is significant for those areas, yes. The potential snow Wednesday morning across northern England is meaningful if you are commuting. But for most of England and Wales, this is primarily a rain story. A wet, grey, rather miserable rain story, but rain nonetheless. Actually, I should be more precise about those accumulation amounts. Eastern Scotland, by Wednesday evening, you could have seen 10 to 20 centimetres above 300 metres. At lower levels, Aberdeen city centre, maybe 3 to 5 centimetres at most. And that not all at once, that accumulating from repeated showers. Northern England Wednesday morning, if we do see snow down to lower levels, we are talking 1 to 3 centimetres, enough to make roads slippery, but not enough to bring things to a standstill. For those of you in the Midlands, I know you're probably feeling rather left out of all this weather drama. Birmingham, Coventry, Derby, you are getting the rain, but none of the interesting snow. Tuesday is wet, Wednesday dries up nicely, Thursday looks like another rain band moves through. Temperatures staying around 7 to 9 degrees, pretty much exactly where you'd expect for early February. The southeast, and I am talking Kent, Sussex, Surrey here. You've got flooding concerns on Tuesday morning continuing from overnight. Tunbridge Wells, Maidstone areas that have already seen flooding this month could see further issues. The rain eases through Tuesday afternoon, and Wednesday actually looks quite pleasant. Some sunshine, temperatures reaching 9 or 10 degrees in Hastings and Dover. But check local flood alerts because some rivers will still be running high even after the rain stops. Brighton deserves a specific mention. Tuesday morning commute could be tricky with spray on the roads. But by afternoon, things improve markedly. Wednesday, you are looking at one of the better days of the week. Some sunshine, temperatures around 9 degrees, a fresh southwesterly breeze, but nothing too severe. Oxford and Cambridge, you are seeing that rain arrive late morning Tuesday. Stays wet through the afternoon. Wednesday brightens up considerably. Both university cities looking at some sunshine, temperatures 7 to 8 degrees. Thursday, another band of rain pushes through, but nothing as persistent as Tuesday. Now let me address the weekend because I know some of you are planning accordingly. It's still quite uncertain this far out, but the current indication is for a continuation of this unsettled pattern. Saturday looks like a day of sunshine and showers for most areas. Sunday, possibly a bit more organised rain moving northeast. Temperatures staying around 7 to 10 degrees depending on where you are. Not particularly cold, not particularly mild, just rather average and grey. There's one location that could see something quite unexpected this week, the Hebrides. Currently, you are in a relatively sheltered position from all this weather chaos, but if that Scandinavian high does build later in the week, the wind direction could shift more northerly, bringing Arctic air down across the islands. It's not certain, but Stornoway, you might want to keep an eye on Thursday and Friday forecasts. Blackpool and the Field Coast. That easterly wind on Tuesday makes for some choppy sea conditions. Not dangerous, but unpleasant if you are near the seafront. Wednesday, winds ease somewhat. The seaside towns along the east coast, Scarborough, Whitby, that persistent easterly Tuesday and Wednesday means cold conditions. Temperatures struggling to get above 4 degrees, but the wind chill making it feel closer to 0. The thing about this pattern that frustrates me professionally is the lack of certainty beyond 48 hours. Normally by early February, we've got some idea where the month S heading. This year, the models are genuinely struggling. One run shows Atlantic dominance for the rest of February. The next run shows high pressure building. It S, that battle between air masses I mentioned earlier, and neither side is winning convincingly. If there's one thing to take away from this forecast, it S this. Check back tomorrow because the situation is evolving. Those model runs tonight will tell us so much about the rest of the week. And honestly, I'll be watching them as closely as you are because Wednesday S snow situation for Northern England depends entirely on where that rain-snow boundary sets up. Portsmouth, Southampton, and the South Coast generally. Tuesday's your wet day. Wednesday improves significantly. Some sunshine possible, temperatures 9 to 10 degrees. The Solent looking quite pleasant actually by Wednesday afternoon. Cornwall, you started this forecast as my temperature shock location and you remain in a unique position. That rain Tuesday morning is your main concern. By afternoon, as skies brighten, temperatures could reach 11 degrees in Penzance. Wednesday looks genuinely nice. Some sunshine, 12 degrees possible. You are far enough southwest to escape the northern drama entirely. The Midlands market towns, Shrewsbury, Stratford-upon-Avon, Warwick, Tuesday is thoroughly wet. Wednesday dries out beautifully. Thursday, rain returns. That seems to be your pattern for the week. Nothing dramatic, just soggy, then dry, then soggy again. One final thought on this forecast. The jet stream position is absolutely critical to everything I've described. If it shifts north, which some ensemble members suggest it might late next week, we dry out and potentially turn colder. If it stays where it is, we restuck in this Atlantic carousel. Tomorrow's update will have much more clarity on this because we'll have seen overnight model guidance. For now, though, let us summarize where we are. Tuesday, rain across the south, causing disruption on saturated ground. Snow continuing eastern Scotland. Cold easterly breeze making everywhere feel rather unpleasant. Wednesday, south dries out and brightens up. Messy mixture of rain and hill snow across northern England and southern Scotland. Continued snow eastern Scotland. Thursday onwards, still uncertain, but probably remaining unsettled. Check back tomorrow morning because I'll have specific timing for that Wednesday morning snow potential across northern England. The midnight model runs will clarify everything. And honestly, given how much the forecast has shifted in the last 48 hours, I wouldn't be surprised to see further changes. Drop your city or county in the comments below, and I'll try to include personalized timing in tomorrow's forecast. The more specific you are, the better I can help. and thank you for watching. Tomorrow S Update will be around 9 o'clock in the morning, so we can catch those overnight model runs and give you the absolute latest before your Wednesday commute. Stay safe out there, especially if you're RE driving through.